Started doing some service work on this pump because I was having some issues with it. It would keep shutting down automatically. It had oil in it, that wasn't a problem. Spark plug's looking a little fouled, so I'll get a new one because that's still the original, and it's not the greatest looking spark plug because on the outside, well, I can't pull it out of the socket with one hand, but it's got some corrosion on it. So I'll put it back in for now, and just to protect the cylinder, keep any moisture or anything like that from getting in. So we'll do that. The little air filter sponge here had oil caked in it, like the oil had overflowed or something. So it's got some kind of EGR thing, I guess. So it comes out of this little hole right here and then runs into the air box for the carb. There's the little hose for it. It just slips in there. And so anyway, I cleaned up the air box there about as good as I can get it, and I'll just go to Canadian Tire or something, get a new sponge, cut it out to the way I need it for that, and then put it back into service, I guess, and then see about getting a new spark plug. It's Chinese made, so who knows? I'm hoping that it'll take whatever spark plug's good for, like a Honda or whatever. And this pump came with a 98cc motor. It produced around 41 to 42 psi, which isn't bad. The new one that I got as a backup, in case I do have to go and knock out any grass fires or anything like that, comes with a 79cc motor. So I don't know why they went smaller. I don't know if it's got a higher RPM or not. I'll have to see if they have the specs on Princess Auto on their website. I had it pumping through around 200 feet of hose or so last night from my tote, and it seemed to do pretty good. But again, a pressure gauge will give me a better idea on what the capability of it is. I have one on the 2-inch pump. Maybe I'll just take this assembly apart and make something for that, but I'll see when I get to it. I like knowing what this one's pumping at. It's supposed to be one of these home firefighting kit things, but I don't know if it's really all that well made, but it always starts and runs, so I just keep an eye on things. Eventually I'll replace it with something better. It's so dang heavy anyways. It's around 65, 70 pounds, so that's why I put it in the wheelbarrow and move it around that way. But I need the little pump for mounting on the rack of the quad. And at some point, I'm going to get a side-by-side. I'm thinking heavily on a Honda Pioneer, either a 500 or 700. 1,000 is pretty expensive. It's around 25 grand Canadian. So I'll probably stick with the 700 at the biggest. It's not a speed machine, but I've got a Can-Am 800 if I want to go fast. So yeah, I'm just trying to get this thing serviced up. I've had it for quite a few years. I've had it since around 2013. Yeah, I think it was spring of 2013 that it went on sale, and I picked it up like a dirty shirt, and whatever the saying is. Anyway, so I went and bought it right away, and the other pump was around the same amount, $200 or whatever, so you can't go wrong with it. The closest equivalent to this from Honda I could find is, I think it's called a WX10 or something like that. And then there's a couple other letters behind that, but it's got a 25cc motor. It's still 1-inch. It's still 4-stroke, but it produces 50 psi. Whereas this one, I've only ever been able to get a maximum of 40 or 41 psi out of it. So when I can afford it, I'll probably pick up the Honda because it's going to be that little bit lighter, easier to put on the rack here, saves a little bit of weight. Because I'm already going to be carrying 25 gallons of water on tool rack of the quad there. So hopefully that would be a good mix. There's other companies that produce pumps using Honda engines, but I mean, some of the ones I'm looking at are pushing $1,000. There's a company that makes pumps for spraying, agricultural spraying and that. One of them is called Ace, and they use a slightly bigger engine from Honda, and it's capable of doing 60 or 70 psi. It's got a 1-inch suction and a 3/4-inch discharge, so it'd be really easy to adapt to a piece of garden hose. So I might pay the extra dough and get that one. We will see. But I mean, 50 psi even is something not to laugh at. That's I don't even know if standard house pressure is that much. So anyway, that's what I'm working on. This one I was pretty pleased with. It put a pretty good stream out through. I think it was 2 lengths of 3/4 inch, 50-foot lengths, and at least 1 length of 5/8. And so that wasn't bad. Good enough for watering trees with. So I just had it hooked up to a tote. So this one, like I said, I know it's done 40 to 41 psi, and it is burning a little bit of oil. There's not much I can do about that at this point, and I don't know how much for parts I can get for this style of pump, being Chinese made and all. So anyway, yeah, I'm gonna get some parts for it, get a spark plug and new sponge, and then I'll try it out and see what happens. So hopefully I'm not getting any more oil in the airbox. And if I am, well, then maybe I'll end up wrecking it for parts. So anyway, that's the end of that.